Men with unhealed childhood trauma become very dependent on external sources of love to feel secure, to feel validated, and to feel grounded within themselves. Now, this results in men becoming very reactive and easily reactive and emotionally shut down in their relationships and in their careers and in their workplaces. And so this comes from when that external source is not available, or when that external source is not fulfilling his needs. Now, as children, love for us is survival. We need our emotional needs to be met to feel safe so that we matter in this world, because that means that we can be safe and we can survive. Because if we're not getting love, then it equals death, right? As a child, we need to feel love and we need to feel accepted. Otherwise, we will starve to death. Otherwise, we'll feel like we are not worthy, we're not valued, and all of these sorts of beliefs can come from this. And so when a little boy didn't have his emotional needs met consistently, he struggles to build a strong sense of self with all of these beliefs of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy of these people's attention, I'm not worthy of love, I'm not worthy of this attention, and all sorts of things can come from this. And over time, this becomes a wound of developmental trauma, or, little trauma, little t. It's not massive, big trauma, but it's still trauma, right? Trauma gets a bad rap for the name, but it's really just a small trauma, this. And so he grows up unconsciously seeking to fulfill those voids, to fulfill those unmet needs from the things outside of himself. Because he feels like he didn't get them, he can't fulfill them himself, so he puts all of these things externally, putting his self-worth in someone else's hands. Maybe in our career's worth. How many times do you ask a man, like, what do you do for work? Or tell me a bit about you. And they'll say, my name is this and I do this for work. So often. And so many men, they put their worth on how much they earn and what they do for a job. It's just the way it goes. And that's all external things. It's not wrong, it's just what is. When you can understand this, you realize that underneath all of this, there's just a little boy who needs a little bit more love. There's just a little boy inside of us that needs to be loved and accepted for who he is, rather than for the things that he's got. It comes from the havingness to the doingness to the beingness. We go through those phases where we go through this thing where it's like, I have to have all these things for people to like me, or to feel connected, or to feel accepted. And then it goes from doing. So it's like, I do all these things for all these people to feel accepted. Then it's just being. It's just being who you are. You get accepted and attention and love for just being. So you go through those phases naturally, and so many people, they are in the first one and going into the second one, where they're not actually being their true selves because they've put their needs and all of their self-worth in external things rather than in themselves. And again, it's not right or it's not wrong, it's just what is. We don't learn this, we don't understand this. And so we can't fully be ourselves because we're still trying to get all this stuff from outside of ourselves. So instead of just being ourselves fully, we become this person who gets triggered easily because we feel like we're not worthy, we're not good enough. We have all these underlying beliefs that are in the background, and someone may say something that then triggers this little belief. It pushes this little button down here. For example, you may be doing something and you thought you did a really good job, and someone picks something out that could be a tiny little bit that they pick out. And you think it's a big deal because it's like, this just fuels this belief that I'm not good enough.
Ooh, what does this button do? Please, do not push the button. You have no idea what it...
And so it becomes a big deal because of your belief, because your little trigger and your little button got hit. But it's not. And if you see it for the way it is, you realize that it's just one thing that they've picked. Right? So it's really important to understand this, and it's really important to just go back and give the younger version of you some love. All of the men that come through our experiences, most of the times the situation that's in their life right now is the symptom to a deeper cause. And when we tackle that cause, the symptom disappears. Sounds simple in theory, it is quite simple. And most of the time it's just a younger version of us that needs a bit of loving and needs a little bit of healing and needs to be integrated with us. Where there's a lot of little aspects and little parts of ourselves that get scattered, and beliefs and everything that get put all over the joint, and we need to just come back and integrate to become one, to become whole. Because essentially we are just grown-up children, you know. Right? So we're basically that. Most of our beliefs are formed by the age we're 5. In that infant period, which is 7 to 10 years, all of our beliefs and all of our emotions and everything are formed. So we first experience an emotion roughly, you know, in the first 5 to 10 years of our life. So if we first learn what that emotion is, because everything's a learned behavior, everything's learned, so these emotions too. So we learn what this emotion is, and that's where these emotions come from. And so we don't relearn emotion. And I'm gonna say most people, like probably 99% of the people, unless they do this deeper work where we go through the unconscious programming, they have the emotional intelligence level of a 5-year-old. And I'm not having a go at anyone, and I'm just saying that's what it is. It's really. And so then we get into our life now and we're like, what is going on? Why can't I control my emotions? Because it's not an issue that we have. We just have this belief system of a 5-year-old. I don't know about you, but I would not get a 5-year-old to make decisions about my adult life. But we all are doing it because we have an unconscious program. So the more that we dive into it, give that younger version of us some love. Give that younger version of us some help. Give him some validation. Integrate him. Learn the lessons we need to. Make him feel loved. And you'll find that it makes a massive difference in your life. One thing you can do is just close your eyes and imagine going back and having the 1-year-old version of you. Give him a hug, tell him that you love him, tell him if there's anything you need to learn, let him speak if he needs to. And then so you do the 2-year-old version, you do the 3-year-old version, and you go all the way up to, you know, you can even go all the way up to your 20s if you want. But I would go to at least, you know, 12, 13 years. And so you go through and just see what is there. That in itself, there may be some tears, there may be some healing that's doing, but it's going to be such a powerful little thing to do. So remember that. Remember that it's just an unconscious issue that's going on, and most of us have this from a young age and we're carrying it for so long, and we just got to love ourselves. I said this all the time, that we spend so much time judging ourselves, we don't have enough time to love ourselves. So the more that we love ourselves, the more others can love us, and we can love ourselves as well. So again, thank you for watching this video. It's my pleasure and my honor to be able to bring these to you, all of this knowledge that I've learned and I've accumulated over the 10, 12 years I've been doing this. I'm so grateful to be able to share it with you all. So let me know what you got out of this, any little light bulbs, any insights. If you have any other questions for me, put them down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, to like, and to share this if you liked it, and we will see you on the next one.